Hey guys, SoCal Val here. You are listening to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast.
Welcome everybody back to the Ringside View episode of the Hitting the Turnbuckle channel. Last time we had Lee McAteer on from Progress Wrestling, and this time we have got somebody who is an all-round entertainer in the world of wrestling, from being the master of ceremonies at the Jurassic Pro Wrestling to the general manager of Ultimate British Wrestling and the commissioner of Sacrifice Pro Wrestling. It's Mr. Chase Anthony. Good afternoon, mate.
Good afternoon, Adam. How are you doing today? You good?
It's good. It's cold, but it's Friday.
It is cold. It's all right. Things warming up for me. I'm a bit cold right now, but gonna roll straight in there. I'm starting to feel warmed up. Starting to feel warmer. And I'll be able to hit that as we go on today.
Yeah, you certainly will, because tomorrow you're going to be dealing with something with lava, and we'll get into that very, very briefly. But obviously, as I said, the Ringside View takes us in a different view to our normal show. Is obviously we normally would have a wrestler on, and we'll talk about wrestling and what they do. You've got varied roles now. So obviously, let's talk JPW first, Jurassic Pro. You are literally the master of ceremonies. You're the man that kicks it off, introduces everybody, and pretty much the first one in, not necessarily the last one out, because the main event would take that stage. But in terms of that and your different roles, is it a combination of those together, for example, with JPW, or is there a bit more difference in what you do?
Okay, so let's break this down. So with every show that I have done since welcoming myself as Chase Anthony, be it UBW, Jurassic Pro Wrestling, Sacrifice, I am, first of all, before anything else, I was a ring announcer, apart from a brief stint as a referee, and we can go into that later as well. So when Chase Anthony, obviously being the voice I am for Jurassic Pro Wrestling, that was also originally the voice for UBW. As big time Chase Anthony. So that is all. When it came to Jurassic Pro, it was about bringing the noise to Harwich and bringing that noise that I'd been known for in UBW to Harwich, to amp up this crowd. And there's a really lovely bunch of wrestlers that have come out of that area that deserve the noise that they get when they come out the ring. And that's how kind of I see that as I come out, is I am the opener of this. Whatever you set as that first impression, that is what comes out. So that's always what hits my mindset. Be loud. The crowd is loud. The wrestlers feel that vibe from that loudness, that volume. So that is essentially Chase Anthony in Jurassic. Chase Anthony at Jurassic Pro Wrestling is the noise. And actually, Chase Anthony is the noise as well for UBW, be it within a general manager role or going out, amping up the crowd. Hear that music play, that saxophone goes, and immediately you're out. The curtains open. You need to make that noise, because the second you make that noise, the crowd go, this is going to be fun. This is the noise I need to make as well.
Absolutely. And sometimes it doesn't really matter, crowd sizes or whatever, because sometimes the smaller crowds make the bigger noise, because you get the people there that maybe can make more of the noise. And it's always about you. And I know I've been there at JPW when you come out your Larry suit, and that's, as you say, the saxophone's playing, and it's even how you walk to the ring, because obviously you're slapping hands, but you walk with that. There is an enthusiastic nature of your walk as well, which also gets the crowd up. And part of you is pumping that crowd up ready, because that first match is coming and you need them hot, ready to welcome the team out.
Totally. I appreciate the I'm hoping it is a compliment with the Larry suit, by the way.
Yes.
I'm very proud of that jacket. Yeah, no, totally. I mean, it's all in like presentation. If you come out with, I need to turn my watch on do not disturb. That is dreadful. That was awful. I hope that doesn't get picked up, but it picked up on me.
Nothing was picked up.
Wonderful. When you, as I say, there's a vibe. There's a vibe you feel. When I'm coming out to that ramp, I am sharing my excitement with the crowd because ultimately I'm a wrestling fan as well. You've got to imagine that, and I've seen you there, Adam. Like you're ultimately there as a wrestling fan. Even the wrestlers are there as a wrestling fan. You should be excited that you are living your dream as a wrestling fan and being part of a wrestling show. And that's genuine. That is genuine as I come out, that the music is playing. You've got that pump, pump, pump beat as you're coming out. And you want the crowd to feel that as well. You want, whether it's 200, 150, or even 50 people in a room, you want the whole of that town to hear that vibe and hear that pump. So you mentioned how I'm walking out and I've got the loud jacket and everything like that. It is to share that vibe. It is for everyone to go. You don't just have to clap hands and clap hands. Dance along, guys. Feel that music as well. I want smiles, and that is how you get those smiles, by showing that you're feeling that at the same time. It's a very genuine feel that I try and gather from that.
Yeah, you certainly do it well. I remember maybe even before our Buckle Up show, I went into the ring at Ignite for the first time. First time I'd ever walked out of an entranceway with music going. And it is that really weird feeling, 'cause your eyes are on you as well. And you've got to, like, I was thinking, am I going to get in the ring? I had to practice getting in and out the ring. So normally Brett's ring, as you know, but he doesn't have stairs there at Ignite. So
No,
how am I going to get onto even the hard bit of the ring? So that was always interesting. I would normally come out with CJ, so that's pretty cool. CJ Carr would normally come out. But yeah, I know what you mean there about getting the crowd hyped. You do a really good job of that. But when you were growing up, just changing it before we move on to other areas, when you were growing up watching wrestling, was there ever a point in you that wanted to do the physical stuff, or did you see, like, did you listen to like the people like JR or Bobby Heenan and you're like, actually that's where I'm better at?
So that's a great question. So we're coming into the history of Chase is in wrestling here.
Yeah.
So yeah, growing up in wrestling, it was the louder characters that really pulled me in. Like, so, and it was the wrestlers. So it was The Rock, it was Hogan, it was Cena as well. Like, I'm talking. I've been watching wrestling since the early 90s and continuously through now. So it's characters that have defined that charisma throughout, Cena, Rock, Hogan. But also, Eddie's entrance was very much part of that. The like, one of my favorite wrestlers is Adam Copeland.
Yeah,
Mine
too.
And it wasn't just like when Metalingus hit, both in WWE and AEW now. It's you again, just he's obviously so excited to come out. But so to answer your question, no, I wanted to be a wrestler first.
Okay.
And in fact, kind of how I got into wrestling. So I had dreamed of doing wrestling across my life. I have a background in theatre and drama, as well as music. So since I was 7, it wasn't necessarily wrestling. I wanted to be an entertainer. I wanted to be the center of attention. I wanted to have the spotlight on me, and I wanted to have a crowd watching me. I studied drama, didn't really get far with it as an actor. And then so this is how late I started training. I'm quite sad to say that since Monday, I turned 36. But I only decided when I was 30 in 2018 that I wanted to give wrestling a go. It was kind of down to a crisis of, I've turned 30. My wife, we were expecting our first baby. And I decided in that moment, as crises go, if I don't do this now, if I don't give this a try now, I never will. So I was very fortunate that in the town where I live, a promotion was doing a show there, and that promotion happened to be UBW. So I went to the show. I even bought the VIP. There is a photo somewhere that I have. I don't know whether UBW still have it. There is a photo of me as a fan doing the in-ring photos, which now, let's look at the irony of that I now, during the intervals, kind of take the lead on the in-ring photos. I'm there holding the UBW British Heavyweight Championship at the time, on my shoulder with a up, up, down, down t-shirt, giving the Jeff Hardy 2 fingers like that at the screen with, I mean, who did I have behind me there? You had Tommy Carl behind me, Crowley behind me, Mims was behind me, Matthew from Botchamania was behind me, which was cool. And what was weird to me, and I'm going to carry on with what I said, was speaking to Matthew from Botchamania at the corner shop opposite the venue just before the show happened. It's like, this is weird to me. I then stuck around after the show and spoke to one of the best creative mindsets I speak to in wrestling, Ash, formerly part of Breed. In fact, I can't say formerly part of New Breed. He is currently part of New Breed because he has returned. I spoke to Ash while the guys are getting the ring down and said, I want to give this a go. And he said he invited me down to the gym the following week to give it a go. And I joined and trained. And week 1, hour in a training, just practicing bumps for the first time, my left knee went. I not as a big injury. It was just a case of it's a nagging injury that I'd had for several years, and it immediately went. And it immediately shook my confidence. But at the same time, I was still determined to give it a go. So I trained weekly with the idea to be a wrestler. And it was the next show after the one I went to as an audience member. I went to help out as a trainee and help set up the ring and learn the ropes and learn, how to set up a ring and everything like that. And Ash didn't have a ref. There wasn't a ref for UBW at that point. And there was another trainee with me. And Ash came up to us and said, do either of you want a ref? I said yes. I think the other guy said yes as well, but he said, all right, let's flip a coin. Heads, tails, flips a coin. I get the ref job for the day. Out of nowhere. And this is like a month into me being with UBW, I'm refereeing. The second I had that experience as a referee, now I'm really proud of this, that my first match ever involved with wrestling, and you can imagine just how monumental this was. My first match refereeing was on one corner, CJ Carter. On the other corner, Mr. Charles Crowley.
Brilliant.
And this was their first one-on-one match. I think it was one of Charles Crowley's very early matches with UBW. I think potentially one of them won. And I mean, we know the history of how that feud then stemmed out. They had matches across the country, as well as including a couple in UBW. And you look at where they have got to. CJ Carter now running a really cool promotion that I need to get to this year, by the way. CJ, I'm talking to you right now. I'm coming to Ignite. I'm coming to Ignite. And then you've got Charles Crowley, international star, arguably this fate. Like, look who he has faced in the last year. There is no stopping Charles Crowley. And I was lucky enough to be the referee for their first match back in 2018. At that point, I was hooked with wrestling. I was hooked with, I didn't care what I did. I didn't care if I was a wrestler. I wanted to do this. I wanted to be in the ring. And so I did take a step back from training as a wrestler. And I said, do you know what? I am happy being a referee, which I did for about 6 months. About 6 months in, the ring announcer for UBW at the time became a wrestler. Has actually gone on to become one half of a very successful team, the Von Englands. So Aidan Von England was at the time ring announcer for UBW when I was reffing. They were developing into a wrestler. There was a space for a ring announcer. I loved refereeing, but the one thing I wasn't doing was getting that crowd pumped, wasn't getting to help tell that story every show. And so I said to Ash, look, there is this space coming up. Can I try ring announcing? Rest is history. 2019, believe in my hometown was my first show as a ring announcer. I come out in purple sunglasses, yellow and pink trainers, a purple t-shirt and a blazer. Big time Chase Anthony comes out. Oh, he's wearing Mardi Gras beads. And that's how a guy who had a kind of early midlife crisis became everybody's favorite King of the Ring announcers.
That is an amazing story. But you mentioned that the word referee. So that's another step. Because a referee's job is not just counting the 1, 2, 3. There's lots of stuff that you have to do in there. I mean, I don't know personally. I've never been. Like you, I done training. I was about a month into training, and I just realized it just hurts too much for me to want to carry on to do that stuff. So hence why that was, I'm older than you. I'm 40 in a few months. So yeah, I started when I was 18 and I was like, no, this isn't for me whatsoever. So a month in, I realized that. But as a referee now, it's positioning, it's what's going on, looking after the guys in that ring as well. So that's really a totally separate aside to you that I didn't know. I never knew that you was a referee. So this is new to me. So when you're a referee, how important is that though? There's the positional aspect. There's the looking up. Mainly, it's looking after the two people in the ring to make sure that they're actually okay when they're flying around doing all of this really crazy stuff.
There is so much you are responsible for as a referee. I have stated to people who train at Square One that a really good in-ring training experience for you is referee a match while you're learning to wrestle, because you say itself, ring positioning, say learning where you are safe as a referee, sorry, making sure that you don't know exactly where the wrestlers are going to be in the corner that you're going to be in, so you need to move out the way. That's how you avoid those awful situations where you get those ref bumps. And my poor friend Nick Cooper has suffered a few of those, sadly.
Yep.
He just needs to not be in that corner. He needs to watch what he's doing, Nick. Come on. But there is a responsibility as a referee that you are there for their safety. You are making sure that if there is anything that has gone wrong, that you are immediately picking up on this. I've seen some fantastic jobs in wrestling. There was one recently, I believe, on was it Raw, where unfortunately Vinci
Yeah, Vinci. Yeah,
concussion,
yeah.
the ref immediately spots it.
Yeah.
You watch the slow motion clip, the ref immediately sees the point where Vinci bangs the back of his head. That is how aware you need to be as a referee. That ring awareness. And so that's why I say the best way to train while you're training as a wrestler, to learn in ring awareness, referee.
Yeah.
It's some of the best experience I've had training was as a referee. And also at the same time, it built my confidence to have authority in the ring, because that's another part of being a referee, is the responsibility of being the authoritative role in there. You're a referee, they respect you giving the rules. And if anything, that has obviously linked on to later me becoming general manager, being commissioner, because obviously having that confidence to be the authority figure, to say, I have counted nearly to 5, you need to get him out the corner. He is on the ropes, get off. Getting them in the ring. Having that confidence with authority, very key.
Yeah, definitely so. And as I say, a new string that I didn't know you had to your bow. And before we break away to sacrifice and everything else, let's play a little game. Well, I
Okay.
always ask this. I do random wrestling questions along the way through. So, your favorite wrestling theme song? Now, I know you mentioned Metalingus earlier on, but what's that? Because the theme song is really important. I was chatting to Arthur Scurro about this Monday, and the theme song is really
Good
important.
guy, by the way. Good guy,
Great
by the
guy.
way.
Great guy, definitely a great guy. What is the thing? Not say what's your favorite one, but what's that one that brings those hairs on your arms up?
Oh, there's a few. I'm gonna tell you what, one that got me when I first went to my first Raw show was Jericho's theme.
Okay, cool.
And this was 2004. So a Break the Walls Down hit that got me. Um, I mean, whether it was Metalingus or Never Gonna Stop Me, or whether it was Rob Zombie or the original, the second you hear, you think you know me. Yeah, goosebumps.
Yeah, I
How,
have to say that I'm a big Edge fan. I've got two Edge tattoos on me, obviously on me, but one is the rated R. No, not rated R. The star with the woman around it.
yes,
That's on my back, and you probably can or can't see it, but there is you can't see it on here. It's the Brood.
great ringside HTTP background you got there, by the way.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's the brilliant. That's the brilliant tattoo. It's the Brood.
Oh, nice,
uh,
excellent.
on my arm there. That was me. Yeah, I mean, Edge done it. Edge used to do it for me. I think the other one live more than sitting down is the Undertaker when he's
When you
gone.
hear the gong,
Yeah, because don't you? It's not the ones when I heard Austin's music for the first live. Not first one of the first
laugh
times I heard
that.
Austin music's live. I was waiting in a line at HMV to meet him.
Mm.
and they played it as he was actually coming down the escalator. Which is
It's really cool as well. Like, so for our shows for UBW, what we do is as the crowd come on, we play, and during the interval, we play WWE themes.
Mm.
And it's great watching kids in the audience kind of look up and go, have they put Cody? Have they put Punk? And I'll tell you what, that's another one. I mean, cult of personality.
Yeah.
Second you hear the static white noise. When that
Yeah.
happened at Survivor Series last year,
Mhm.
I watched Survivor Series with Josh Spicer,
Mhm.
Harrison Leon, and Tommy Kyle, and we're getting ready to go. You know, that tag's come,
Yeah.
and you hear the shh, silence, mouth agape, goosebumps, very special moment. That song always does it for me as well.
Yeah, I got to admit, the song didn't do it for me until two times. One when he went to AEW the first time, and the Survivor Series one, because they did do a great job of making you think it's not the him, because there was always that big, that big
Classic
random,
Hunter
yeah,
doing that card, and then
yeah,
the little tease
yeah,
after. Very
very
good.
very good done. What's the favorite match that you've ever seen live? It doesn't have to be WWE or anything like that. Do you have a match that you've watched live and have been like, wow?
There are many. There are many matches. So I mentioned the Crowley CJ Carter match.
Mhm.
My first match as a referee. There's a lovely moment where Crowley hit the Crowley spear on CJ Carter. And I'm in the corner as a referee, but there is a moment where I pop for it. As a referee, the wrestling fan in me comes out. That's a very special moment to me. Matches, I'll give you a recent match, a very recent match that is one of my favorite matches I've watched since joining the industry. And I believe you were there as well yourself, Adam, was Sacrifice's last show before the new year. Kai Payne versus Adonis Payne.
Oh yes.
Absolute stunning wrestling match. It's already can be argued that Adonis Payne is arguably the future of British wrestling. Actually, I can't say he's the future. He's the present of British wrestling. With a story that has followed both Adonis and Kai for over a year. You are getting that feel that something special is going to happen, and it did. It was one of the best matches I saw in 2020. I think it is my match of 2023 for sure. Certainly in the coming up 6 years I've been part of wrestling, one of my favorite matches to watch.
Yep, definitely. So I've gone with RKJ versus Ishii. I watched it at
Okay.
Rev Pro. I'm a big fan of like the hard hitting stuff, and it
Mhm.
was, oh Jesus, it was there was a headbutt during that where you could hear the heads crack.
Sure.
Normally with the chops, I'm like Jesus, but that bit was just like I was
The issue you have when you ask me one of my favorite matches I've seen live, it's trying to boil down just how many shows I've done as a ring announcer, as a
yeah.
referee. There's so many matches. So that's the one I pulled out. If you ask me tomorrow, I would say something from probably AEW and Wembley.
Yeah.
And I went to see that last year. Or something I saw at NXT TakeOver when that was at Wembley a few years ago.
Yeah.
The favorite matches change on a day to day, but that's the one that I give to you. And I will go back and watch that match, RKJ versus Ishii. I will
Yeah.
do that.
Do it. If it was live in London, live in London. I can't remember the number, but oh my god, it was something else. It was. I think it was the first show. Was it the first show? It might have been the second show since I had the heart failure that I went and saw. So I saw Rev Pro 2 weeks after I had heart failure, and I think I saw both nights, Zach and Ricky, but I think they were a team at that point, and that was later on. So it would have been October, November time. I think it was. Nice.
Okay.
So just
I'll check
making
it out.
sure. Yeah, check that one out. Let's move on to Sacrifice. I was meant to Sacrifice. It was very good, great charity last time with the clothes. I was speaking to Hustle Malone about this week as well. Very, very different promotion in terms of it is a charity show. They do a lot for charity, which is great.
Yes.
And how does your role differ there to all the others, if anything?
Well, that's a very strange question, Adam. So with Sacrifice, I don't feel that I am different. I'm still loud. I'm still charismatic. I still get people's attention. Um, I think there's an expectation that they weren't expecting with me. Let me tell you about Sacrifice. So when I came in Sacrifice as commissioner, I came in after a very successful UBW versus Sacrifice show in 2022. And UBW, arguably, I'm general manager for UBW, and the UBW team squad arguably won the night, won more matches than Sacrifice did. Don't you think it's kind of coincidental that I then get a call saying, why don't you join us at Sacrifice as commissioner at the same time? They're obviously seeing an element of success in me. And all I did was bring that same attitude, that same authority, that same vibe, that same pump to Sacrifice. Whether it's been received as well by the crowd of Sacrifice and by the wrestlers at Sacrifice, that's not on me. I've gone into Sacrifice and seen where the cracks are and what needed to happen, sorry, to make it successful. One of the first things you saw when I joined Sacrifice was Act 2 becoming the Saints of Sacrifice champion. And look at them now.
Yeah.
That is a hot tag team division. You have a very successful stable, arguably with POS. Whether their actions agree with mine all the time, but you can't argue the success of Act 2. In my first show, as commissioner for Sacrifice, after show after show after show of a vacant ticking time bomb champion, first show I'm commissioner, Tommy Kyle wins the ticking time bomb championship. It's not coincidence. That's not coincidence. That is sway I have. You look at someone like Kent Nelson, who won the Coburn Cup and then was just seeing disrespect and was barely getting booked and wasn't getting the successes because the drive wasn't there for him. Partners up with me. We work together. He's ticking time bomb champion. There's this new fire inside of him. He's arguably like the monster of Sacrifice. It's not coincidence. There's no difference in what I do. You see the same success from UBW that you see in Sacrifice as well. It's not necessarily my fault that it's not as well received by people like Hustle Malone or by the fans in Bedford. No. That's all I can say on that. That's my only comment on that. Because I'm sure, Adam, you come to our shows. I know that you see Sacrifice. You said it yourself. Very successful charity promotion.
Yeah.
We have something to be proud of in Bedford. You can't argue the success of that.
No, definitely not. It's very good. I enjoy watching it. Start to wrap up now, Jace. You've got a show. Let's just start talking about what you've got coming up. You're a very, very busy man across those three promotions in general. You've got shows, one as early as tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah, UBW is in Biggleswade tomorrow, Saturday, January 13th. Doors, I believe, are at 5 o'clock, and I could be wrong. Someone will tweet me this later if I am wrong. For Floor is Made of Lava 6, it's our yearly... This is an exciting time for wrestling. It's our yearly match where we determine who is going to go on and main event against the UBW British Heavyweight Champion or a championship of their choosing at WrestleMania. It's not just any kind of over-the-top rumble. Doesn't matter if you're thrown out over the top rope, through the middle, through the bottom rope. It is about if your body hits the floor beneath the ring, you're hitting lava. You're eliminated. And the last man standing in that ring will go on to main event WrestleMania later this year.
WrestleMania, I love that name. That's such a great name, WrestleMania. That is wonders who for that. Then you've got another show coming up at the end of January.
Final Sacrifice. Final Sacrifice match at Here Comes the Pain. Another rumble to determine who will go on to main event against whoever is the Ultimate Sacrifice champion at Sacrifice's 7th anniversary show later this year. That is a show I'm very excited for. It's a Friday night show, that show as well. We rarely do a Friday night show with Sacrifice. There is a little promotion that some are aware of in Bedford that happens in September. Bit different. Little thing called Wet Cake Pro. You should really check it out if you've not heard of it before. But yeah, Friday night, January 26th, we are putting on Here Comes the Pain. We've got Kai Payne apparently hosting. That one was news to me. But I'm going to Here Comes the Pain because I need to have a word with Hustle Malone about his recent return. He won't pick up his calls that I'm trying to send to him. I'm trying to speak to him, won't come back to me. Apparently he's at UBW tomorrow. Need to have a word with you, Hustle. Where you at?
There you go. So Hustle Malone was on the show the other day. Could have messaged me. I could have asked a question for you.
I'm trying. He won't respond.
Will not respond. And then you're striking back with JPW in February.
Jurassic Pro's first show of the year. Very excited. This is so again, Jurassic Pro is a great show where I get to do what I started doing, which was connecting with the fans. The main event is already set as well. New Jurassic Pro Wrestling Lost World Champion Ruthless Forrest Hayes goes one-on-one against Tommy Kyle in the main event for the championship. Cannot be more excited about that. Cannot be more excited about that. And I'm so excited to be the guy that says the following matchup scheduled for one fall is for the Jurassic Pro Wrestling Lost World Champion with those two either corner and shouting, "Here is your winner" at the end to the fans of Harwich. I want to see you at Harwich. If you're in Harwich, come down to this show. The Jurassic Pro Wrestling is this little fed that can, and it will, because it is a great promotion.
There's also lots of other stuff going on as well, and a debut, I believe, to be seen from a luchador.
Yeah, no, I've not heard the gimmick name yet. I've heard I'm not a football follower, but I'm not sure how Ipswich Town are, but I'm not sure how they're going to get received in Harwich. That will be interesting. But yeah, Nova Luna. That's it. That's their name. Nova Luna. I've never met this person. I'm looking forward to meeting them. I'm also interested to see what the Ben Jones has on offer with this recent attitude shift as well in Jurassic Pro Wrestling.
Oh, what a lovely man he is.
What a great man he once was.
Yeah, once was. You're absolutely right. Before we go, I've got to run through stuff that we've got coming on. So
please do.
Hold that phone and take a breath. Right. Coming up on the show soon, Tommy Kyle, funnily enough, will be joining us before. He's one. We've also got the NWA, well, the current NWA television champion. He may not be after Saturday. Big Strong Mims will be coming on as well. Following that, we have Jay Joshua coming on. He will be discussing all things Ignite, especially his match with Adonis Payne for the Ignite Heavyweight Championship on February the 4th. More on that in a minute. Also, we've got another Ringside View coming on with the lovely Francesca Oliver from Revolution Pro Wrestling. She will be coming on to say hello. And after Ignite, and I'll get to Ignite, so I'll do the show posts in a minute, we have a sit-down discussion with probably the best women's wrestler in the planet, or definitely in the UK at the moment. A certain Alex Windsor will be popping in for a chinwag and a cuppa, as she put it on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it. In terms of shows, yes, February obviously the all shows there. So any tickets we will post on our feeds with this interview, so you can go to all the shows that Chase has mentioned today. Jurassic Pro's tickets starting at £3.50, I believe, from what the post. So get down to Harwich for that. But the next time we're going to be at a show is February the 4th. Funnily enough, at Ignite Wrestle Pro. That is very special to us because it's the exclusive home of the men's Turnbuckle Championship, and more on the other part. When I've said the word men's, you know what's coming after that. Smashing Mike would be defending our Turnbuckle Championship against Eddie Dennis as part of that show, as well as it's all mentioned, the full card's actually out now at Ignite. I'm not going to run it through because I'll probably forget one, but Adonis Payne and Jay Joshua will headline that show as well. But I did mention men's, and I can't forget that next Saturday, the 20th of January, at Apex Pro Wrestling, we will crown our first ever women's turnbuckle champion with the team at Apex. So that will be going on the 20th. And then lastly, just to shout out to our sponsors, the people that we're sponsoring this year: Aluna Blue, Taylor James, LA Taylor, and the Odyssey, Artemis and Adonis Payne. And lastly, just before, because I did forget just now, at Ignite show in February, me and CJ Carter will be making an announcement during that show. But I can't tell you any more until after that Sunday. So it leaves me just to say one thing, Mr. Chase Anthony, thank you for joining us on the show today. I wish you the best luck. We will get down to these shows again this year at some point for sure. Need to get down and see Sacrifice. I need to see UBW as well. I haven't seen
Come on down.
So I will have to make a trip down there with the team soon. But thank you very much for your time. Good luck with everything this weekend and for the next few months. I will definitely see you around. Guys, this has been Ringside View on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. He has been the master of ceremonies, Chase Anthony. I have been your host, Adam Cousins. And until next time, everyone, buckle down, stay safe.